So anyways guys, I want to make a video how to get into expediting. How can you actually get into it? I actually just made a video that was previously before this one. It was going to be a video how to get into expediting, and I started kind of getting into the reasoning behind like why would you want to get into expediting, and that video could have went on for like to be like much longer than it was. But I decided to just go ahead and you know, make this type of video because you might not care about all that stuff. You might just want to say, hey, look, I just want to get into expediting, and what's it really going to take for me to get into expediting. So in this video, I'm going to talk first about how to get into expediting with a used van, and then I'm going to talk to how to get into expediting with a new van. So with the used van, not everybody's going to take you. And well, I guess a used van, it's not necessarily right. I'm referring to 2004 to 2006 Sprinters. If you got a 2015 used van, then hey, this does not qualify to you, because the vans like T1Ns that I drive and like some of you guys drive, some people like those vans, and well, a lot of people like these vans actually. This van is actually getting manufactured right now in Russia. You know, thanks for the video, Mason. I really appreciate that. Yeah, shout out to you, Mason. I really appreciate him sending me this video clip. Basically, it's called Sprinter Classic in Russia. So it's like 2017, but they're producing this older body type of Sprinter there, and actually comparing it that it's really good for the Russian roads and stuff. And you know, it handles well, and it's true. You know, it's a good van. I have like no problems with it. I think it's a good van. It's a good size. It is fuel efficient. You know, and it's good for many reasons. Well, I guess the biggest reason is fuel efficient. This van on a bad day is getting 24 miles per gallon. On a good day, 26.5. You know, can you say the same thing about the 6-cylinder Sprinters, the 3.0 cylinders? You can't. That thing on a bad day is doing worse than 18.7 miles per gallon, because 18.7 miles per gallon, in my experience, and I don't drive it hard. I used to have that van. It did 18.7 miles per gallon on an average throughout the whole time I actually owned it. And as a matter of fact, it actually started dropping. This is why I say on a good day, 18.7. And some people claim, oh no, it goes 21 miles per gallon. Well, they're not calculating the miles per gallon right, because what they're doing is they're looking at their gauge on the speedometer and they're saying, oh yeah, it's showing I'm doing 21 miles per gallon, but in reality it's showing you that number, and it's going to fluctuate. It's going to go up and it's going to go down, so that's not going to be a true number. If it is somebody getting that fuel efficient, then you're lucky. You know, hey, you got a good van, you know, if it's getting that. And maybe possibly you're getting that now because you got rid of the particulate filter. Maybe you got rid of the DEF system. So yeah, maybe it's actually doing a little bit better for you. But I had a DEF system installed. Well, not a DEF system, excuse me, the particulate filter system on the 2007 3.0 diesel. In 2007, when I actually had it, that's how it came. And so it wasn't fuel efficient. And when that thing started clogging up, this is how fuel economy went down completely. You know, so yeah, I guess let's talk about this 2004 through 2006, because my channel is mainly dealing with these older type of Sprinters for now. A lot of guys, that's what they want. They want the 5-cylinder because they're fuel efficient. They're still a good size. I guess let's talk about what size of a van that you might want to get. You definitely want to get a big van. You want to get the high roof. You want to get the longest one. So the longest one in a T1N type of Sprinter, it is actually 158 wheelbase. I know it's like, it sounds like really strange, like 158 wheelbase, when the newer ones it says 170 wheelbase. But anyways, 158 wheelbase, guys, you have 165 to 166 inches of cargo space. As a matter of fact, let me go measure. Well, I don't need to measure. I already know this. I don't want to measure just for the heck of it, because I know mine is 166 inches and the doors will still close. And this is exactly measuring the cargo area of the Sprinter. And it is 50 inches wide between the wheel wells, and basically, you know, 166 inches long, about like 168 inches tall. So it's a little bit shorter, it's a little bit narrower than the new one, and it's a little bit like not as long, because the newer one, like 170 wheelbase extended, it's like 15 feet long. So those are definitely pretty good, you know, because they're pretty long. But this doesn't even matter, guys. I guess why am I saying that? Because that's mostly for the comfort. It's gonna be more comfortable for you to have this longer, you know, sprinter, because you could build a sleeper and you're still gonna have room left over, you know, to do the load and stuff. But the way I did my sleeper, guys, I'm still not using up any space. I could just flip up my bed and load completely. Yeah, I'm not gonna have any place to sleep when I'm gonna have the load, but still, you know, who cares? I actually have a mattress, and some of the loads are sturdy enough. If you have to make a stop, you could just throw the mattress on top of the load and still get a good night's sleep. I mean, this is not if it's packed all the way up to your roof. But anyways, guys, even though, of course, with 166 inches, this is more than enough to take 4 skids. We're talking about 48 by 40 skids. So if you're gonna do like 40 deep and 48 wide, you could stack easily 4 skids. A lot of skids that we're getting, they're like sometimes 48 by 50, 48 by 53 even, not only 48 by 40. So the 48 by 53, you could only do about 3 of those. And, you know, you're gonna have some room left over. I'm not sure if with the extended, I guess you can. I have to make a quick calculation. Most likely with the extended, you could take 4 of those 48 by 53s. You know, so you know you're gonna have a little bit more room. But I'm not gonna make that assumption, because I'd like to have the calculator handy and do all the math and everything. But I cannot really do this in my head right now. It doesn't really matter. It's pointless. Why is it pointless? Because you could claim 12 feet of cargo space. So this is going to be a lot less than 166 inches. This is basically taking away almost 2 feet, and you're still going to do quite fine. I had 12 feet of cargo space because I had seats installed, and I could actually slide him back, and you know, I would have more leg room, but I could slide him forward, and then all of a sudden have like 12 feet and 2 inches. That's how I did it, guys, just in case. You want to make sure, you know, if the skids they're not quite even, you're gonna have that wiggle room, you know, because that will actually happen. So I did quite good with that. So anyways, I know this is kind of like you know, getting into the example, but I want to make sure that somebody that's really brand new to this type of sprinter and they like this type of sprinter, what is the difference is going to be? Because I get all these questions like, how long are these sprinters, how tall are they, you know, how many skids can you fit, you know, what is the best one to get, and that kind of thing. So I definitely recommend get the biggest one possible. Will you get the biggest load every time? No. For the most part, guys, I just carry like one load. When I just got called for a load just a little while ago, it was just gonna be like one engine. They said it was gonna be like 48 by 48 skid. Turned out it was not quite so, because the skid is actually 66 inches wide, and it was actually quite long. It was at least 10 foot long. So it would have fit if it was not as long, as wide, you know, basically. So yeah, so mostly you get one skid, and then at other times you get 2 skids, and on occasion you're gonna get about 3 skids, and in very, very rare occasion you're gonna get about 4 skids. Okay, I guess talking about you know, the older type of sprinter, it takes a little bit more time, because you know, with the newer sprinter, you're just gonna be that better, you know, better off, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you, you know, to get hired. So I could already see it's been about 9 minutes me just kind of like explaining the dimensions and stuff, and you know, this kind of thing, and fuel economy, and why would you actually want to get into this type of sprinter, you know, versus something that's newer. Plus it's gonna be much cheaper. I mean, like on a good day, if you're gonna do some searching, you could find this 2006 sprinter for about $5,000. Not everybody's gonna sell it for that much. I mean, some people sell it for $14,000 still. I actually seen him for more expensive than $14,000. I have mine for sale right now listed, but I'm probably gonna remove it. It's not gonna be for sale anymore, because I'm having some issues with this one. I may end up having to switch over to that one and continue driving. I don't want to lose any time, so time is money for me. But that sprinter I had listed for like $9,000, and I had a bunch of calls on it, but I don't answer my calls because I'm really not that serious about selling it. But if somebody does send me like a text message and, you know, we could get some kind of agreement, then I would, you know, I guess probably sell it. Because I do have others, but they're not as good because, you know, they're not 100% yet. You know, I need to fix them. But I just got finished with that sprinter this year, so it's my spare sprinter, and it's a luxury to have a spare sprinter. And you know, the reason I'm saying that because not everybody's going to be able to do that, and a lot of times it might not make sense. Why would you want to have an extra sprinter? You could just buy another one, you know, if it breaks or whatever. But guys, I already had more than once a situation where my sprinter breaks, and it takes about a month for somebody to fix it, and another time I needed the engine replaced, and it took a month for them to actually replace the engine at the Mercedes. So yeah, you could expect about a month loss, and then you're gonna have a huge bill between, you know, $3,500 and $10,000. So you could have been working that whole month and made that money back, or you could just be sitting waiting for your sprinter to be serviced while you're paying the insurance on it and everything else. So anyways, so let's talk about next step, how to actually get hired with an older sprinter. Guys, you're gonna have to definitely make a lot of calls, okay? And the best place to start is expeditorsonline.com. expeditorsonline.com, guys. It is, if you cannot find it by just typing into like an actual website address, just do like a Google search, expeditorsonline.com, and you're gonna get a link. And on that particular website, there it's a kind of like a, it's kind of like one-stop shop for everything. There's gonna be like a bunch of these companies that I'm not sure if they have to pay to advertise there, you know that they're available, but they're there, and you could see like a lot of people talking about various different stuff, jobs, companies, some, you know, like it's kind of like a forum, and there's insurance over there too. You could, you know, get an insurance quote and call some of these companies around. But here's kind of like the problem you're gonna run into. If you're gonna call some cool company, you could see that, you know, it's a company you want to work for. Maybe they're located in your state, whatever, and it's some kind of big name. They're gonna ask you, well, what kind of sprinter do you have? And you're gonna say, well, I'm thinking about buying a 2006, or maybe you got a 2006, and they're gonna say, well, that's too old, we're not gonna take that. Well, how old does the sprinter need to be in order for you to hire me? And they're gonna say, well, it can be more than 5 years old, or it can be more than 10 years old. Okay, so that's gonna be like kind of like the two main things. So basically you're gonna think, well, my sprinter is more than 10 years old, so then you're gonna need to find like some other companies, and you will find them. You just need to call all of these companies that's listed over there, and call around, and then you will find one company. They're gonna say, well, okay, you got this type of sprinter, okay, good, well, what kind of experience do you have? And you could tell them your experience, and, you know, this and that, and do you have any points on your license, or, you know, like, is your record clean? You could say, yeah, it's clean. And then you could ask them some question, well, how much do you pay, and, you know, do you have, what kind of charges do you have every single month? Because guys, some of these companies, they have charges. This is something you need to watch for, because some of them might say, hey, you have to get our insurance, and then you're like, okay, well, how much? And they're gonna say so much a week, and then they're like, hey, we need to put a satellite on your roof. Okay, well, how much is that? So much a week. And they're gonna say, well, there's a documentation fee. How much? 250 bucks. Well, will you have any passengers? You're like, well, sometimes I'll have my wife with me, or, you know, locally. Okay, for her to be allowed to be in your vehicle, that's gonna be 100 bucks. You're gonna be thinking, what? It's my van, you know. And they're like, yeah, but this is our insurance. But technically you still have your insurance, but you also get in their insurance. It's kind of like, I'm not going to necessarily say it's double insurance, because technically you're going to have to get, in that type of situation, you're going to have to get bobtail insurance. So you do cover yourself, like full coverage over whatever, but they're going to give you the actual commercial insurance, where they're going to take care of the cargo, they're going to take care of the liability portion of it. So because of the liability, they're going to say, well, there's these extra fees and, you know, charges and whatnot. So you might not be excited about that. So it's going to be up to you. And then, of course, the smaller companies, a lot of times they're not going to have any fees. They might have like this one fee. They're going to say, yeah, we're going to charge you this cell phone tracking fee, you know, maybe like $8 a week or something. So you might say, okay, well, you know, it's not that bad, you know, compared to these other ones, and you're gonna let that one slide because you do need some kind of tracking type of you know, thing for a lot of these customers, for them to track you. And some of the stuff is free, some of the stuff is not. Like I use MacroPoint, and I used to be charged by my company for MacroPoint, but they stopped charging. But now they charge for like another thing, because now their brokers require them to actually buy insurance for each driver. So technically, they told me I could drop my coverages, and they're just gonna, you know, I just pay them, and they're having, you know, me just pay them $100 per month, which is reasonable. But I still did not drop my coverages. I still have my million liability, $100,000 cargo. So yeah, you know, so it's like I don't want to drop my coverages because here's what's gonna happen. Let's say something's not gonna work out, and I'm gonna have to leave that company. If I'm gonna want to leave, then that means I'm gonna have to get higher insurance coverages, and by me getting higher insurance coverages, now the price is gonna be like higher up than what I was paying before. So that's not gonna be that good for me, because then it's a lot of uncertainty. I'd rather be certain of what's going on. If I wanted to leave tomorrow that company, I could go work with some other one. And some of you guys might be thinking, well, you got an older van, you know, where can you go? It's not a lot of good choices out there because you got an older van. Because most of the good choices out there, they have to do with when you have a nicer van and all this kind of stuff, you know. So anyways, I don't know, like, if this is really kind of like, if this is me kind of like already explained to you how can you actually get into this company, but I guess let me kind of like backtrack and you know, like you know, make sure you got all this information correctly. So you know, you first gonna need to go to expeditersonline.com. You're gonna need to find a company that willing to take you, but already you have to be in a mindset. Are you gonna be getting a brand new van, or are you gonna be getting a used van? So if you found a used van and it's a 2006 van, before you even buy it, ask them, hey, will you take this van? Let's say you found a company, everything's good. You found a company that will take you. So you like check mark, okay, so this company will take me with my old van. So your next step is call an insurance company provider. Make sure you get the VIN number of that vehicle. Call an insurance company provider. You're gonna need to find a broker that will you know, like write Progressive policies. I mean, you could probably find just call Progressive directly. I'm not sure. Most likely you're gonna have to work with a broker, and then you're gonna have to see like what kind of policy are they gonna write you. If you're gonna get lucky and you're gonna get a policy written by non-Progressive, that's going to be great. But at the same time, some of these companies that you're going to work for, they require a Progressive policy. Guys, that's got to be illegal. And why am I saying that? Because I'm hearing that more often and often. That's like the monopoly, guys. That means Progressive is getting a monopoly. You know, you have to get insurance from them, but they're the most expensive ones. Or the brokers are telling you you're not going to be able to get the loads because you don't have the Progressive policy, which I don't understand. Progressive is the most expensive insurance out there. I don't have Progressive, guys, but the insurance agent that written my policy used to write my Progressive policy. They've raised my rates for no reason at all. And so I told my broker, I said, look, I barely work. I got my own house now. I don't need to leave as often. Why would I be paying this expensive policy? I don't want to feel like I'm a slave to the policy. I'm just working just to pay the policy. Are you kidding me? I don't even have even a van payment. Like, my vans are so old. Like, my van on a good day is probably worth like $5,000. So are you telling me I'm gonna have to pay $14,000 for insurance every single year? He's like, yeah, that's like unreasonable. It's like I'm paying like 3 times, like I'm paying for 3 sprinters in a year. Like, why would I want to do that? I'm not gonna do that, you know. Plus I have a clean driving record and stuff. So of course my policy wasn't $14,000, guys. It was quoted kind of big, but it wasn't $14,000. I don't live in New York, okay. I don't remember what it was, but it would have been at least $10,000 because, you know, they are expensive. But basically I told him that's too much, find me a cheaper one. And he found this one insurance company, and I will actually mention this insurance company. It's called Auto Owners, okay. See, my company, the agent does not matter. If you have an agent, you know, see if they could write policies through auto owners. That's the insurance company, auto owners. Here's the thing. Most of the auto owners, they don't even write to brand new customers. Like, you have to like have been, you know, with them for a while, and, you know, like have so much kind of like experience, and then they write you a policy. I got really lucky. I qualified for everything, and they've written that policy for me, and they gave me a really cheap deal, and I'm paying it, guys. I'm paying right now, I'm telling you, $145 a month for insurance. Okay, so you're not gonna have me complaining about insurance, but I know other guys, they're paying way more. But my agent told me there was only two companies basically, because I have to write it through a commercial policy. It's not under my name, because that company only writes commercial policies with a commercial type of business. You have to be registered and all this other stuff, have like a LLC, corporation, you know, something. So basically, yeah, they were able to write this policy to me, and then they wrote it to this other guy, okay, that had a straight truck. Out of their whole policies, only 2 policies that was written with auto owners. And my insurance agent called me up recently, guys, just recently, like at least a month ago, and he says, well, we don't know what's auto owners is doing right now. They just canceled one of this guy's policies for no reason at all. And I'm like, are you sure there's no reason? Did this guy had any accidents? Did this guy had this? And he's like, yeah, actually he had an accident. I'm like, well, there you go. They're dropping him. That's what they're doing. Is, see, insurance, if you have an accident, guys, they'll drop you like crazy. Like, they're just gonna drop you. They're not gonna cover you. Like, they don't have to. It's like they'll pay off a claim, and then that's it. Good luck trying to get a policy done, you know. Yeah, and I really hope nothing bad will happen, because you know, I don't want to have to pay more expensive a policy than what I'm paying now. It's like, I don't want to be cheap, but guys, like, why would I want to give my money away? It's like, I don't want to have to do that. So anyways, he told me, we're not going to write policies anymore with auto owners. And I'm like, you're not going to cancel mine, are you? He's like, no, we're not going to cancel, because we're not the one that canceled. They canceled him. So if they're going to have to, if they're going to cancel you, you know, then we'll have to get you with like a Progressive or something. And I'm like, okay, but that's an if. But do not cancel my policy. They're like, no, we're not going to touch it. I'm like, yeah, just leave it alone. Don't do nothing to it, you know. I don't want to have anything. But he says, we don't think auto owners you know, knows what they're doing, because, you know, they wrote these policies kind of cheap, and now they don't even write them that cheap anymore, guys. They wrote me cheap, and they wrote this other guy cheap, but they don't even write them this cheap anymore. Okay, so that's like another thing, you know. It's like, I just happen to be lucky, because I just shopped around and seen, you know, if they were able to write a policy to somebody else, and, you know, I got lucky. But anyways, guys, yeah, that is the insurance portion of it. It's like, I don't mean to really like get into it, but I think this is actually really important for you. You might rather listen to me. I know it's only been 23 minutes for 30 minutes, but at least kind of like know what you're getting into with an older sprinter or a new sprinter. It doesn't really matter. So we already talked about, you find the sprinter that you want. You find a company that will hire with that sprinter. Then you find the price of the insurance. And so when you have the price, how much it's going to cost you for insurance, and you have the company that wants to hire you, and you have the money to pay for this used or new sprinter, doesn't matter. Now you need to start thinking, well, is this really worth it for me? Because I'm going to have to pay X amount of money for insurance, and that's going to be your biggest cost. Then you're going to have to pay for fuel, and that's going to be, well, that might be your biggest cost, is fuel. Because some of us drivers pay between $1,500 and $2,000 a month for fuel. Some maybe pay more with you know, less fuel efficient vehicles, but basically it's fuel every day. Like, I fuel up sometimes 2 times a day, and it could be like $54 to $60 for each fuel up. So if you're just driving like long distance somewhere, then yeah, easily you could spend $150 just on fuel, like in less than 24 hours, you know. But that's if you cover some crazy miles like I do, and you will at some point. So So yeah, that is that, guys. And plus, of course, with the company, you're gonna start working. You don't know how good they are. They're gonna promise you everything. They're gonna say, yeah, we got loads, we got brokers, we got everything. And then you're gonna start working for them, and you're gonna realize really quickly, you're like, hey, there's no loads. What's going on? And they're like, hey, well, there's no loads right now, but just take the small ones with the big ones, and everything's gonna, you know, be good. And they're gonna talk a big game, you know, that kind of thing. Like, it's just slow right now, or maybe there's somebody else ahead of you, and they might be telling the truth, they might not be, and you're just not gonna know the difference, you know. And if you're new to this business completely, and I guess if you're watching this video, you probably are new to this business, you're gonna quickly realize you are away from your family, sometimes for like weeks at a time. And I'm not just saying like 1 week, guys. If you want to make any money, most likely you're going to be gone 2 to 3 weeks. And this is not by your own choice. It's because you just can't make it home unless you just drive home empty. And if you drive home empty, 500 miles might cost you like $100. 1,000 miles might cost you like $100. I mean, 100 to 150 bucks, depending on what the fuel is and the fuel economy, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, it's like, I mean, it's a business. This is why I always say, kind of like, you know, treat it like a business. Get paid what you're worth. Do not drive for like cheap rate, because, hey, you might drive for like 50 cents today, and you're thinking you're gonna get a load tomorrow for like 80 cents or 90 cents or $1, but you might not get a load like that tomorrow. You know, and that's just how it is. I may have to make a smaller video, just kind of like points, where if you don't want all this extra details, just kind of like point by point, you know, what the process is. I just think if I would be watching a video on how to get into expediting, this is exactly the type of video that I would want to watch. And this is exactly the type of video that I'm actually making for you guys. I would rather know everything that I'm getting into, so I could make a sound decision. And, you know, do I really want to get into this? Hey guys, I'm gonna try to do like a little voiceover. This is the end of this video. I'm gonna have another video which I'm gonna refer to my little book here, and I'm gonna show you exactly what it's the difference of working for yourself versus working for an owner operator as a driver. So I hope you watch that one. I think it's gonna be a pretty interesting type of information for you.